Hello. This is Kathy of kathysright.com, and welcome. I hope you subscribe today. Across the nation, I'm hearing an almost undetectable hum. Have you ever heard the saying that a person may not remember the words that you say, but they'll always remember how you made them feel? Remember this feeling today, America. This feeling that we are all collectively feeling of restriction, a loss of freedom, a loss of companionship with our friends and our family. This feeling of insecurity, this is what socialism actually feels like. This is what AOC and her crew want us to feel. This is how they want us to feel. Because everything is dictated right at this moment during this pandemic by the government. We cannot go where we please, do as we please, mingle as we please. We cannot do these things as of today because of the coronavirus. But isn't this socialism? Bernie Sanders said standing in line for bread was actually a good thing. Well, now you have to stand in line at the grocery store. This is what socialism feels like. You have a couple of little kids and you want to sign them up for T-ball, but you have to wait for the government to tell you it's okay to even have a T-ball team. This is what socialism feels like in America. This is American socialism as we live today. We're waiting for a check to come from the government so that we can survive. The elite are able to weather the storm without much worry. The elite can sit down and pay all of their bills with a couple of buttons on the computer, and the worries are over. The rest of America, the ones who have to work hard for a living, don't have that luxury. Some of them are almost like first responders. They work at grocery stores. They work at banks. They work at the hospital. They don't have the luxury of staying sequestered in their home. So I want you to remember how this feels, America. This feels like socialism. You may not remember the words that I say to you today. You might forget them in 15 minutes from now. It doesn't really matter. But what does matter is us trying to get our rights back at the end of this pandemic. And you know it won't ever really end. They're already talking about how it will come back to haunt us next season. I can't wait to see the pork that was added to this stimulus bill. I know it will have something to do with the Green New Deal. Let's just pray that there's nothing in there about farting cows. AOC, are you happy now? You got your socialist America. But we're not happy, and we're not taking it lying down either. So get used to that, AOC. We are Americans first. We're not a globalist country. You wanted us to be a globalist country. Look how that's working out. Look how that's working out. China was threatening not to send antibiotics to our country because almost all of our antibiotics obviously come from China. You think we're going to get back in that position? No, we will build manufacturing companies. We will take old companies. We will repurpose them, and they will be manufacturing companies for all of the medicine, all of the things that we are running out of because we depended too heavily on China. And that will never happen again. Trust and believe that. Does anyone else feel like we're in a zombie apocalypse? That's how I feel. I feel like this is I had to go to Costco, which is my favorite store, I had to go to Costco last week, and it felt like a zombie apocalypse. People were wearing masks. And by the way, the zombies in my movie, they're the Democrats. The Democrats are the zombies, and we are the normal people. But we're not going to shoot their heads off because we are normal people. But yeah, this is like the zombie apocalypse. It continues. Many of us can't pay our bills, but we will learn to save, because I think this is a lesson that people need to learn. We are children of God, and we still need to learn lessons, no matter how old we are. We've learned how to save for a rainy day. We're learning to put our pennies in a bank. We are learning that paper money is really germing. What else are we learning today? Maybe I don't know what else to do except for cook. I don't know what else to do. But I'm fortunate. We're retired. We have saved for a rainy day. But I understand. I have children who are adults. I've been to their homes. I've seen their refrigerators. Often there's only 2 items in their refrigerators. That's a scary thought for me, to think that my children aren't eating. They're in different cities and states. And I got to think, please God, let them have food in their refrigerator, because the last time I saw their refrigerator, it was very, very sad. But they go out to eat. Or there's the one of my kids, vegetarian. They only eat fresh vegetables. Well, how is that going to work right now? I got to worry about that, because I keep frozen vegetables, canned vegetables, but I know they don't. They have to have fresh vegetables because they're vegan, or I forget what they're calling themselves. There's one of them only eats fish and vegetables. One of them only eats vegetables. One of my kids fast a lot. My older son, he likes to fast and pray, which is great. But I think he'll be more prepared because he was in the Air Force and he did learn how to survive, and he's lived in foreign countries. And I think out of all my kids, I think he's probably the most prepared. But I do worry for the other 3 because they're not germaphobes like me. So as a mom, when you don't know where they are, you think they're in a ditch somewhere. We really do think they're in a ditch somewhere, a dirty ditch, picking up all these germs out in the world. And I'm a germaphobe, not just for me, I'm a germaphobe for my children. I always have been since day one, since they were born. It's kind of weird. It's a thing that mothers do because I think it's part of our makeup that we are always going to be concerned for our children. And I think it would be unnatural not to. I've got to call them and make sure they're eating. Oh, please. Do you know what? My mom, I just got off the phone with my mom. She still asks me, did you have a bowel movement today, Kathy? I kid you not, my mother is still concerned about me being regular. Yes, Mom. Yes, I did. Are you taking your vitamins? Yes, Mom. I'm taking. Which vitamins are you taking? I had to go through the list of the vitamins that I take and how often I take them. And you're not touching anything. No, Mom. I'm not leaving the house. I golf and I don't touch anybody else's anything. Oh my gosh. But that's part of being a mom. And she's made that way, and so am I. And I'm sure my kids, the ones who will have children, I'm sure they're going to feel the exact same way. Because that's how we're made. We're going to be concerned. We're always going to wonder if they're eating right. I get that now. My children, the 2 that have a child each, I think they understand now why I worry like I do. And worry is such a useless emotion. It really is totally useless. It's not fundamental to any kind of happiness, but you just can't help it. You try to let go. I say, God, I'm going to lay all my troubles at your feet. You take care of it. But there's a part of me still wanting to hold on to some kind of control. I think that's where worry comes from. God, I hope they're okay. I hope you're okay. And I hope your children are okay. I think that now, after this, I think Americans are going to buy up all sorts of freezers. If you don't have a freezer in your garage, if you have a garage, I'll bet you people start buying bigger refrigerators and bigger freezers now. Because people will learn that we really should be stocking up all the time, because you never know what's going to happen. You never know. You never know. It could be an earthquake. It could be a tornado. It could be a flood. Where I live was flooded last year. I mean, not my house, but certainly down the street. And, oh, wow, there is a storm outside. But certainly down the street. And we have to be prepared as though. And being prepared doesn't mean you have to go all in on being a prepper, although that's not a bad idea. I just think that we've learned a lesson. It's a very valuable lesson. We will stock up. A lot of people are taking classes, language classes. I think that is a wonderful thing. I learned Spanish when I was in school and from my friends. I wouldn't have learned it as well just from school, but I had friends. And I remember if you are learning a foreign language, it's very enriching. It enriches you in many ways. You're able to communicate with twice as many people as you were able to communicate before. And I remember when my parents told me, you need to take Spanish. My parents had their ear on the railroad tracks because they could see the train coming of the changing demographics of America. And my mom said, you should take Spanish. So I signed up for Spanish. And I wasn't doing very well in it at first. And my mom said, well, don't you have anybody you could practice with? I go, no. And she said, well, don't you have any Mexican friends? And I go, no. And she goes, well, go make yourself some Mexican friends. They'll help you. And I go, okay. I listen to my mom all the time, and unlike my children. And I went to school, and the girl sitting next to me in my Spanish class, her name was Patricia. She was a sweet girl, really beautiful girl. And I asked her, why are you taking Spanish? Because I heard her speak Spanish to her friends. And she goes, oh, because it's an easy A for me. And I'm like, wow, maybe you could help me. And so we started hanging out together. She was very fashionista. I wasn't that stylish, and she was very stylish, and everything was just so. And she even came over to my house a few times and helped me put together outfits, because I wasn't good at that yet. I'm good at it now, but she really showed me how to put an outfit together, and she really thought these things out. And so my Spanish got to be really good. She and another friend of ours, Diana Lopez, she was from Puerto Rico, Puertorriqueña, and both of them spoke Spanish with me, to me, and corrected me. And that was a very hard pill for me to swallow. I have a lot of pride. And so my feelings would get hurt when they would correct me. And they said, Kathy, if you really want to learn Spanish, you really have to learn to not get your feelings hurt when we try to correct you. Because they did so lovingly. They were never rude. And so I stood corrected. And I learned. And when we started to work, both of us started to get jobs. When we turned 16, first thing you want to do is get a job, because so you can make some money and have more than just the pocket change that your mom and dad would give you. And I got an allowance, but it wasn't enough for me. I wanted more clothes. I really did. So me and Patricia, we went to the mall and we got ourselves jobs. And all the places that we applied, I mean, I think I applied to 3 places. I think she applied to 5. We got job offers at all of those places, every single one. Why? Because we were bilingual. Going to church. We're not allowed to go to church. Another thing, sounds like a communist would do, not allow its people to go to church. How is that sitting with you? How is that sitting? I can tell you how it's sitting with me. I'm more frightened than anyone because I'm a germaphobe. And I never liked all the hand holding at the church and the shaking of the hands. And I never liked all of that to begin with. So I was fine with it. No contact. I was like, yes, I felt like I won something. And then now it's like you can't go to church at all. That's like the fabric of my life. I go to church every Sunday. It's like my life is a rhythm, and the Mass is a part of that rhythm. And they've interrupted my rhythm. And I think that that's frightening for a lot of Americans. Freedom of religion is imperative. To be American, it's something that's a part of who we are, and I can't believe that we allowed this to happen. What are we going to do? Well, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to my prayer